The dark side of dyslexia, overcoming the unseen obstacles. Dyslexia has a much darker side than is apparent. Ask any adult who has grappled with dyslexia and they will reveal a haunting truth. Dyslexia is much more than a mere literacy challenge. It also creates unseen barriers that not only shape identities, but also hinder potential if not dealt with. Without help, these hidden challenges affect every person with dyslexia, and unless you know the signs, they fly under the radar of parents and teachers alike. However, with early detection and a little knowledge, the reading struggle can be eliminated as well as the sinister consequences. This video will cover these issues, how to spot them, and what to do about them. Let's get started. Jamie's silent struggle. Jamie's parents were constantly baffled by his behavior. He had a fascination for dinosaurs and space. He could tell you about the dinosaurs from each period and explain modern theories of space travel. He was obviously bright and curious, yet he struggled in reading and writing. Simple tasks that his classmates breezed through seemed to stump him. His frustration was evident, but his parents couldn't fathom the source of his struggles. They assumed it was a lack of effort or focus. No one could see that Jamie faced a daily battle. Amidst the rustling of pages and the scribbling of pencils, Jamie's world was a turbulent sea of letters and words that danced and twisted, refusing to make sense. Each day brought with it a deep sense of frustration, a shadow of worry. Jamie's mother, Sarah, could not understand why he seemed anxious when it was time to head off to school. She did know he was reluctant to read in front of the class, but assumed that was shyness or disinterest. Neither of Jamie's parents knew that in class, Jamie felt a gnawing anxiety that clung to him like a shadow. The mere thought of being asked to read aloud sent shivers down his spine. He would sit, heart pounding, praying that the teacher would pass him by. The teachers had mentioned his antisocial behavior on the playground, and this made no sense either. He was such a friendly boy at home. What his parents didn't see were the whispers and giggles from his peers that made him feel like an outsider. Jamie had been an easy target for jokes, and those jokes hurt, so he retreated from playing with the other kids. He also had physical symptoms like frequent stomach aches. Still, his parents attributed those to unrelated health issues, not connecting them to his emotional state. Solitude in a sea of faces. James' parents knew he spent most of the recess time alone, but they assumed he preferred to be lost in his thoughts rather than playing with the other kids. They never realized how self-conscious he was because of his reading problem. Despite being surrounded by classmates, Jamie felt a profound sense of isolation. He saw himself as different, unable to share the joys of story time or excitement of writing stories, despite having such creativity and intelligence. So while the others huddled together to enjoy learning, Jamie's world was an island, and he was its solitary inhabitant, the eroding shore of self-esteem. With each passing day, Jamie's self-esteem eroded like a cliff against relentless waves. Witnessing this gradual erosion was troubling, yet they didn't link it to his academic challenges. Helping him with his homework made him sink deeper because he was ashamed. Jamie's parents struggled to understand why their intelligent and capable son began to show signs of self-doubt and hesitancy. The corrections and red marks on his papers were constant reminders of his struggles. The bad grades, an embarrassment. He started to believe he was less capable and less intelligent. So his confidence, once a mighty ship, now felt like a fragile raft adrift in a vast ocean. Shadows of shame and guilt. So Jamie's parents didn't realize the shame and guilt he was feeling. He engaged less and less in family activities. His quiet demeanor when his sister was praised was misread as sibling rivalry or moodiness. The extra time spent helping him with homework they assumed was just part of parenting actually put an emotional burden on him. They didn't understand that Jamie blamed himself for the extra hours they spent with him at homework, for the worried looks they exchanged when they thought he wasn't looking. They did not see the real battle Jamie was facing every day, a struggle with dyslexia hidden behind the veil of misunderstood behaviors. Dyslexia can cause frustration, anxiety, and isolation, and it impacts self-esteem. And it's even worse if it gets undetected. Sadly, it goes undetected in girls more often than boys. So let's listen to Jane tell the story of the nuanced ways dyslexia affected her daughter's social interactions, friendships, and her ability to navigate the complex social landscape of school life.
Watching our daughter Emily with her vibrant imagination and love for painting, we knew she was special. But at 9 years old, she seemed to inhabit a world quite different from her peers. While other girls bonded over shared stories and books, Emily stood on the periphery. Her struggle with dyslexia, invisible to others, cast a shadow over her ability to join in, leaving her often isolated and alone. It was obvious that Emily felt like an outsider. Girls can be mean, and Emily was an easy target. Our hearts broke witnessing the subtle yet painful bullying Emily endured. It started with an innocent reading session at school, where her difficulty with words drew laughter from her classmates. This laughter soon turned into a persistent undercurrent of teasing. We watched helplessly as Emily, once so eager for school, now approached each day with a sense of dread, her bright spirit dimming. The social repercussions of her dyslexia became starkly evident when Emily wasn't invited to Laurie's birthday party. It was a gathering for her classmates, but Emily was conspicuously left out. The reason, as we later learned, was heartbreakingly simple. The party was for book club members only. This exclusion was a painful reminder of the social barriers Emily faced daily. To escape her reality, Emily turned to the digital world, hoping to connect with her peers online. But even there, her dyslexia followed. Each text message was a minefield of potential errors. Each group chat reminded her of her reading struggles. We watched as she gradually withdrew from her online interactions, further isolating herself in a world where she already felt so alone. As parents, we felt a mix of helplessness and determination. Emily's journey was not just her own, but ours too. We were committed to helping her navigate these challenges and to find her place in a world where she had so much to offer.
Emily was suffering a common fate for dyslexic girls. It has an enormous impact on their social life. Academic challenges are just one part of the puzzle. Equally crucial is the social impact of dyslexia, which is often overlooked in girls. It can be even more burdensome for girls because reading very often is central to a girl's social life. When reading is challenging, it can leave girls disenfranchised from their peers. Children with dyslexia may find making friends more daunting than their peers. The constant struggle with reading and writing can make them feel different, setting them apart in an environment where these skills are highly valued. This difference can sometimes lead to hesitancy in approaching others, born from a fear of being misunderstood or unable to keep up with activities that involve reading. Unfortunately, children with dyslexia may also become targets for teasing or bullying. Struggles with reading aloud in class, difficulty responding to written questions quickly, or even needing extra help can make them stand out. This visibility can attract negative peer attention, leading to hurtful teasing or worse, bullying. For girls, reading often forms a significant part of social bonding. Book clubs, reading groups, and even casual conversations about popular books are common. A girl with dyslexia might find herself on the periphery of these activities, not being able to engage in discussions about the latest book, or struggling to participate in reading-based activities can lead to a sense of exclusion, affecting her social circles and friendships. Girls are typically more adept at hiding their reading challenge. The problem often goes undetected until much later in life, so they rarely get the help they need. And the longer the problem persists without help, the deeper the pain of social isolation and diminished self-esteem. So if you suspect this is a challenge for a girl you know, be sure to watch our video on the unseen challenges faced by girls with dyslexia, and you can get it right here. So let's return to Jamie and find out what happened after his mother discovered the real problem. What she went through emotionally and the effect on the family is a common experience.
Once I received the report showing that Jamie's struggles were due to dyslexia, a wave of emotions washed over me. Relief, guilt, and a profound sense of realization. Jamie, my bright little boy, had been fighting a battle we hadn't fully understood. His withdrawn behavior, his reluctance to participate in school activities, and the mounting tension at home suddenly made sense. It was like finding a missing piece of a puzzle that had long puzzled our family. I thought about Sally, Jamie's younger sister, who had often seemed like the silent spectator in this family drama. With our focus so intently on Jamie and his challenges, had we overlooked her needs? She had been patient and understanding, but I could see now the subtle signs of neglect, her quiet retreat into her own world, her occasional outbursts of frustration. The realization that we might have inadvertently let her down weighed heavily on my heart. This journey had not been easy on my marriage either. My husband and I had found ourselves at odds, more often than not, disagreeing on how to handle Jamie's issues. I had seen it as more of an emotional problem, while he thought it was a behavior problem. This difference in perspectives led to countless arguments, casting a shadow over our relationship. The emotional burden of not knowing how to help our son, the guilt, and the constant worry had taken its toll on us both. Our family life had become an emotional roller coaster. Every small victory Jamie achieved was celebrated with an intensity that only parents of a struggling child would understand. But with every setback, our hearts sank. We rode these waves of emotions together as a family, but it was emotionally and physically exhausting. We had perhaps become overprotective in our attempt to shield Jamie from the outside world. This had affected not just our relationship with him, but also with friends and extended family. We had isolated ourselves, often declining social invitations, fearing they might overwhelm Jamie. Our world had shrunk, and with it, so had our social support network. The guilt of not having identified Jamie's dyslexia earlier was a constant companion. I kept wondering, what if we had caught it sooner? Would things have been different for Jamie? With the diagnosis came the realization of the financial implications. Therapy, specialized tutoring, and learning materials, the costs were daunting. My husband and I had to sit down and reevaluate our finances, which added yet another layer of stress to our already strained relationship.
Dyslexia has a profound and often overlooked impact on family dynamics. It can reshape the way family members interact with each other, influence parental relationships, and touch every aspect of family life. But what Sarah had yet to discover was that the financial burden was unnecessary. While specialized tutoring can be helpful, parents can do what is necessary at home using a simple online course. A parent with a bit of patience can be very effective in remediating dyslexia, not only because of the special relationship between a parent and child, but also because of the convenience. Doing a few simple lessons at home is much easier than wasting time driving and waiting at a specialist's office. And this can all be done easily with the Learning Success System. So the Learning Success System teaches parents how to work with their children to remediate the problem and how to reverse the emotional issues caused by the learning challenge. It only takes about 15 minutes per day. There's a link in the description to a free trial. Of course, it should be evident that these problems get worse if the root problem is not detected. The emotional issues, the incorrect self-assessment of low intelligence, social isolation, and the strain on family dynamics, all preventable. Unfortunately, some adults do not discover the problem until very late in life. They went through life isolated, with low self-esteem, and just assumed, what many others thought about them, that they were stupid. As I mentioned before, this is even more common in girls because they're so talented at hiding it. That's why it is critical to know the early signs of dyslexia, because the earlier it is detected, the better. You can learn what those early signs are by watching this video right here.